Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever time you happen to be watching this, I hope you're having a great day. I want to talk about the online databases that Mount Marty has available, and I want my students to be able to, just have a quick step by step about how to access those databases. And so, as I said, this is a brief overview. And again, if my students have any questions, please shoot me an email. Please stop by the office. As always, all the borrowed images and quoted text are used for educational purposes. I'm attempting to help my students get a grasp of the material, and I'm not trying to monetize this video. The quickest way I think to access them is to, go through the student portal, click on the library tab, and click on database resources. This screen capture comes from going through the faculty um, portal. I don't quite know what the student portal looks like, but I'm fairly certain that the library tab is there and that the database resources are there as well. So that's step one. Just access it through the portal, click on the library link, and then click on the database resources. Once you do that, clicking on the database resources, I think there's two spots to look at. Number one, the EBSCO host, which will get you to Academic Search Premier, and second, JSTOR. I believe that those two are the better or the best options out of the ones available. With EBSCO/Academic Search Premier, you type in the search term, you click on search. On the left side of the screen, limit the searches to full text, limit them to peer reviewed, and look at 2014 through 2024. So, for example, a few years ago, the book that I was using for the novel I was using to have people mine topics from had a Vietnam vet who was dying in an old folks' home. And so I decided to do my sample on the My Lai massacre. I've limited it from 2017 to 2020, and I've limited to the full text and the scholarly peer reviewed journals. There were 11 resources that fit underneath that. And so the next step was I opened the articles that looked interesting. I used the PDF option because those are easy to download. I skimmed the article to determine whether it would have worthwhile information. I looked at the abstract. I want to give a quick caveat here that the abstract often is not written by the author. So make sure that it's not something you're necessarily going to quote and attribute to the author, but it does let you know in a broad fashion what it's about. I skimmed the introduction. I tried to read that carefully. I tried to read whatever conclusions were at the end carefully. And again, I skimmed through the article to determine whether it would have something that was useful, either to show that I was correct or useful in a sense that it showed I was incorrect and needed to perhaps modify my thesis. If it's worth saving, I clicked on the Google Drive icon on the right hand side of the page. I'll show you that on the next slide, I believe. Then I followed the prompts to save it to Google Doc. And then I went to Google Drive, excuse me. And then I went to the Google Drive folder to look for the EBSCO folder. The PDF is off to the left. The Google Drive save tool is off to the right. I think that it's pretty self-explanatory. Once you click on open the PDF and click on the Google Drive, you should be fine. The EBSCO folder is labeled EBSCO. It shows up in your Google Drive. I moved mine into the Comp 104 folder. It'll show up in your Google Drive folder, your Mount Marty Google Drive folder. First, you might have to move it. And you'll have the activity tab open, perhaps. You can see that you've uploaded the thing. and it's in there. I think that this helps you get all of your stuff into one spot, makes it easier for you to find what it is you're looking for, makes sure that your research is saved in a place that you can access from your phone, from your computer, wherever you think you need to. Next, I think it's important to take a quick look at the idea of citations. You're going to hear me say this at the end again. It's best to make sure that you double check, triple check, quadruple check all of the citations. But there is a citation tool. In fact, there's two spots you can access it. But if you click on this detailed view thing, you should get to the detailed record. And once you get to the detailed record, you should be able to find the MLA 9th edition. You can also, and you'll get the citation, I used a different one here for 2024, but also this icon right here will get you to that same spot. So when you're saving to Google Drive, you can just go down to this icon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, click on that, and it should get you to the citation. Once again, double check, triple check, quadruple check that the citation follows the MLA 9, that all of the information is there, but at least this is a start. With JSTOR, in some ways it's the second verse, same as the first, but there is a bridge. And to go back to a really bad old person joke, there's more cowbell. First of all, the full text articles, content I can access, make sure you click on that. Second of all, try to click on journals and research reports so that you're dealing with the best academic stuff you can find. And again, limit the dates, 2014 to 2024. All of that is fairly easy to do in the JSTOR database. You can see that I have the journals, that I have the research reports after 2014, before 2024. This time I decided to do a little bit of research about pocket knives. It's an interest of mine. And I found this article about little prehistoric copper knives. You can see that I have the option to download it, I have the option to save it, and I have the option to cite it. JSTOR, if you save it, puts it to a workspace. In the workspace, you can create a folder. You can see that I've labeled mine research folder, and it can save it there. It should be much, much, much neater than a physical workspace, and this one looks all too familiar. It's not mine, but it's as messy as mine usually gets. Once you're there, you have the option to create a subfolder for different subtopics within your research paper. But nonetheless, you can see that the journal article is there. And again, you have the option to export it. You can do some presentation. You have options with your viewing. So the workspace allows you to save it. You're going to log in with your Mount Marty credentials. And so either way, it should work fairly easily. JSTOR also allows you to cite, but it gives you some, for lack of a better phrase, damn good advice. If you look down at the bottom, always review your references and make any necessary corrections before using. Pay attention to names, pay attention to capitalization, pay attention to dates. Make sure that it follows the MLA format. Or if you're doing it for another class, make sure it follows the APA format or the Chicago format. But make sure you're following the proper format. I think this pretty much wraps this part of it up. Remember, the databases are the best places to get research for academic work here. We're not just Googling things and grabbing things from billsmith.com. We're looking for academic research. As I've said several times in class, and I'll keep repeating, the fact that some experts may err does not mean that you automatically get to trust non-experts to be correct. We're going to trust the academic experts because we're in an academic setting. I think I'll wind this one up here. Once again, I hope everyone has a good day. Hope to see you all in class the next class period. And if you have any questions, stop by the office or shoot me an email.